Off air starting. Boom. We are live. Hello, people.
Hello, hello.
We've made it. So Victor's just gotten here. He's been out. I've been fluffing around. Frame. I did what you usually do. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I called you. You sounded asleep.
Yeah. No, I was.
It's rare.
I was in the shower when you called. I won't describe the situation too much, but yes, I had to get out of the shower. But yes,
You got
I made
everything
it.
nice and smooth now.
I'm good. I'm fully. Well, here we go. Here's how tired I am. So what is the term? I am debacterialized.
Ah,
That's right. So by the way, your camera is aimed a little low at the moment. It's got a good focus on your
better?
necktie and your
better?
crotch, but not your face. I mean, some people want to probably see that, but I don't. So yes,
you
thank
had enough
for-
in the shower, I imagine.
That's right. My own is fine. I don't mind looking at my own, but I don't want to particularly. Not unless
You can have the debate of how that doesn't make you gay, but okay.
Well, that's right. If it's yourself and you're imagining that you're a woman at the time, it's totally not gay.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that sort of thing.
Of course not. Of course not.
So
How's it going?
it's good. It's good. I'm rocking. I tell you what. I mean, I've been so busy and I've had no time to look at news. And I was thinking, geez, what the hell are we going to talk about? And all I had time to do was to look at the headlines. And oh my God, the headlines just completely wrote the show themselves
I know.
for us. It's like,
Thank
please,
God for Justin Bieber, finally.
can you make it Bieber? Oh, man. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Canada, for producing Justin Bieber and sending him to us, because otherwise we'd have to actually work for our content to be interesting.
Well, there's a couple. Before we lead into that, there are a couple things that I thought were interesting we should talk about.
Really?
I don't know if you know about them, but did you know that you can now see 4K videos on YouTube? You probably know that.
I actually didn't. I did not realize that.
Last
4K.
I've been looking at the Sony HX 400 bridge camera, which has a 50 times zoom lens, and I've been enamored by it. And I was checking out the videos, and there's a couple unboxing videos that show it in 4K and 2.3K. I don't know. I think it's 2.3, but you know, of course, that if you go to the store, they're selling them all in the stores. They're hyping them up. They're trying to sell them all over Japan now.
Yeah.
4K monitors, but no one makes material for it. There's no content yet.
And you know what? It was like that with HD even like 5 years ago as well, actually. And I remember when Google enabled 1080p, and I was among the people saying, who in the hell would want to watch 1080p on a computer monitor?
Right.
But yeah, people know actually it's probably pretty standard for a lot of
It's
people.
kind of
to
interesting
upload that
because
way.
it's leveling the playing field. None of the big shows like Game of Thrones or those major shows are planning to do 4K, at least as far as I know. But Netflix, who you know became famous because of the Orange is the New Black and shows like that.
Yeah.
And another one about I forget the other one. Someone please write in the comments. But those shows are planning to produce the 4K shows, and they're buying the 4K cameras. So they're going to be the first one. So they're going to level the playing field, because people will buy TVs so they can brag and show off their.
Well, that's true, and you know, and YouTube was one of the that YouTube enabled HD when no one was broadcasting in full HD, and I was always thinking, why in the hell would you bother? But exactly, no, just because, and that's just it. When people buy a 4K monitor or a 4K TV, they want to see content for it, and yeah, sometimes it's the internet's the only place they can get it in the beginning. It's a smart move by YouTube, I guess, although.
And you can buy the 4K camera now.
Well, that's right. Yeah, the cameras are out there. You know, I mean, I don't. Oh, no, I'm personally waiting for 8K. I don't know. I mean, there's always the next thing coming.
Some Japanese companies skipping 4K, aren't they? And they're going straight to 8K.
Well, technically, I mean, you could read 4K as shike, which has a lot of negative sounding
Japanese.
connotations. I don't think that's the actual reason per se, but when you know exactly that, you know, whenever all the Chinese manufacturers and Taiwanese manufacturers and all the undercutting competitors are coming out with 4K at the same time, it always makes sense for Japan to be trying to jump a step ahead. But there are really negative associations with the sound and the appearance of the term 4K. Oh, I mean, 4K as well has always been the kitanai.
I thought 3K.
Was it 3K? Was it
Dangerous, kitanai, kitsui, and what's the other?
Yeah, man, I've been doing 4K all my life. I guess we need to add another K, like for crazy or something. But
And you can buy a
yes.
4K camera for only $2,000 now. The Sony FDR AX100B.
I bet you $1 that there are 4K. I mean, and you know, this is the other thing which is kind of dumb about these resolution things. You can have, I mean, you can literally just have like a pinhole, in fact, I think LG already has released a smartphone with a 4K sensor on it.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but the point is that it's just pixels, it's just data. It's got nothing to actually do with how much light it gathers and the quality of the picture. It's just more dots. It just means that you'll see the crappiness and more dots if it's not a good lens. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be like, it's going to be like $100 or $200 4K cameras coming out, just like there were really cheapo HD cameras, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get a better image per se. You're better off with an old-fashioned low resolution camera with a great lens on it still.
Right. Well, the lens is everything, of course. Yeah.
But
okay.
but of course it's yeah. If you've got the sensor and you've got the graphics processor and the speed and everything for it, yeah. I mean, there's nothing stopping everyone from putting 4K on everything. But well, again, to be the old guy, it's like, what do you need 4K for? Why do you need that many pixels? But I guess people have been saying that since 360p.
I say this with this will sound funny, but it's true. 4K will take off when porn companies start using it.
Oh yeah, well that's true of everything actually, isn't it? Yeah. And no, there's a lot of truth to that.
If Sony they were smart, they would just give major porn company directors 4K cameras.
Well, yeah, Sony was always. I mean, remember that's the whole reason that Beta failed, was because partly because Disney got involved with Betamax.
Mm-hmm.
Disney got involved, and Sony didn't want to be associated with porn and all, because all the porn came out on VHS. That's why they lost the format war, even though Betamax was a superior video cassette format. And with everything, I suspect Sony learned that lesson painfully now. But yeah,
they'll be smart and support porno in the future.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, who knows? But anyway, just quickly say hello to everybody who came in and was talking. So we got Bad Geisha, Razel Gulshon Gos, Kiran Guralaja, Django 1989. A lot of familiar names here. Content side, good to see you guys who come in here every week. Narcissist, Emily Louise Maitland, very good to see you. It's always good.
I owe her a video. Sorry.
You owe her a video?
Yeah, I'm going to do a video review of her channel.
Okay.
I keep not getting. I have to watch more of her videos so I can talk about it.
She's lovely.
She's a lovely girl.
Yeah, real.
Despite being Australian.
She's one of the good. She's one of the good Australians, like the half that I have. And yeah. No, it was really cool hanging out with her and going to karaoke with her after the.
I heard I heard a rumor that you sang the New Kids on the Block or.
Oh well, they'll take that. Yeah, we did. Well, we sang all that stuff. I mean, I'm basically a boy band guy. I taught Bieber half his moves, including going to Yasukuni.
Of course, he would only learn that from you. Being a Japanese nationalist and apologist. Me
being an apologist, a soft apologist. I tiptoe when I walk in. But who else we got? Oiva. I don't know Oiva, but no university tomorrow, so good stuff. I guess that's because of Easter or something, or I don't know. But,
really? I don't
know. Barringer's checking his gauging perimeter. Speaking of which, I guess in Nagoya, the visit of Obama has no impact on you, but for people in Tokyo, especially where I in central Tokyo.
Is he there now?
Yeah, I think he's here now. It's been crazy. The security.
How did Bieber get here?
Actually, I think I saw something in the news that.
What's he doing here? I mean,
I think he broke into the airport and he hid inside the wheelhouse of the airplane.
I saw
that. He was
movie.
Actually unconscious as it flew across the Pacific, and he climbed out on the other side and ran across the tarmac and got away. I think that was Bieber. It was like some kid anyway.
Right. They all look the same, these foreigners.
Yeah. But who else we got? Painted for Dragons? I don't know this guy. This is earlier than expected. Well, this is the time that it's been every week for the last 4 years, but I'm glad it's earlier than expected for you.
Already?
Sorry?
Gaijin Shane is in the house. He's the guy who you sang karaoke with.
Gaijin Shane? I haven't gotten to that guy yet. I said Painted for Dragons, but...
Yeah, I recognize his name, but I don't know why.
Sean Goss, always good to see you, and he apparently already has his life-size cutout of me ready for the show, which is disturbing. Thank you for the information. I'd be interested to see. I'm kind of morbidly curious to see that. Contensa, good to see you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Austin Richardson, Cade Calcute, good to see you. The Sean Bro one. Narcissist.
Take my thumbs up. Take it.
Yes. Don't
we will take all your thumbs. Get on your thumb right now and start thumbing up this video right now. You guys gotta give us a little more love.
I'm gonna raise my uncomfortable hand right now. This is the please. please stop. I'm not comfortable with the undertones of this language. Stubuya has actually a pretty good question. This one's for Victor. I'm going to ask. So, do you think the kamikaze pilots themselves were believers?
That's a hard one.
Honestly, I tell you, if I was flying an airplane and somebody turned on Justin Bieber, I would consider flying it into something. Warren,
that's how we can get people to commit suicide these days, right?
I don't know. I mean, but what else we got? We got Clean Glass Check from Behringer. My Agonaut, it's always good to see you. Warren Antoli, always good to hear from you. Drygen, good to see you. Waiting, I'm sorry, we're always late. Studio, the Electrical Dragons, that's right. Jorge Dominguez, good to see you. And this is the first time you're joining us live. Very good to see you live. Shane, Gaijin Shane, there you are. Yeah, great hanging out with you at the karaoke along with Emily Louise Maitland, and good to see you. Austin Richardson, good to see you. Awaiva, wow, there's so many people. Cowboy in Japan, thanks for the tweets and all that stuff. And good.
Yes,
to see
he's
you.
already drunk, by the way.
Oh, awesome! Wow, he's ahead of it. By the way, so you went out tonight, but are you off drinking at the moment, or was that like a one-day thing?
4 days now.
4 days.
My 4th day. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days.
Well,
5th day. It's my 5th day. Today's my 5th day. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Actually, Victor, I gotta speak selfishly. I'm worried this might affect our ratings. I'm gonna require you to stop being sober for the show.
My wife wanted to take a break, and she wanted me to support her morally, or not morally, but what's the word in spirit? No, there's a word.
But a moral support. Yeah, you can say that.
It's not morally, but I give her some moral support.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm very jealous of Cowboy in Japan. And today I was out with Regan and Shane. Actually, Shane.
Yeah.
Shane that you just saw.
Yeah.
We were out tonight, and we were contemplating going to see the new Spider-Man movie in 3D on Sunday.
Will it be in 4K though? That is the question.
But I saw Captain America last week.
Really? He's coming to Tokyo as well?
Yes. He's going to beat Justin Bieber's ass. I saw Captain America in 3D, and it was a lot of fun. I was a lot better than I thought it would be.
The new Captain America is set like in the future or the present now. It's not like a World War II setting like the original one, right?
Well, the original one was partially. They would show some episodes from World War II, but they would also show where he was unfrozen. So the story's been basically the same. He was frozen in World War II, and then he came.
The original one was set during World War II.
Not all.
The whole movie. The whole of the first movie is World War II.
Oh, the movie. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. The movie. I thought you were talking about the original comic book. Okay.
No. The movie. So this is the sequel. It's got the same actor and the same. So.
Did you guys read those comic books in New Zealand, or you guys?
Yeah. Well, we had nothing. I mean, honestly, I kid you not. The only New Zealand comic that there is available to read was called Foot Rot Flats, which was literally about sheep and sheepdogs.
No wonder.
So no, honestly, I mean,
it was pornography.
And some nerd calling on some nerd respect. I got a first cousin who's one of the current writers of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. In the US, so I've got we grew up with all the same crap because we had nothing of our own. So of course we read all the Marvel, we had the Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all the Marvel stuff. Yeah. And I wasn't heavily into comics, but we had them around, and we'd swap around comics when I was a kid. So and they used to be like 10 cents. It used to be cool.
So as adults, you and I are pretty much the same generation, but as children, we were completely different. Like I didn't.
Well, that's kind of true.
Ninja Turtles, that was childish for me. When I came out, I was already in high school, graduating high school or in college or something.
And I was a little bit on the top end of that. I was getting like 10, 12, whereas, you're really into comics when you're 6 or 7, and that's a very specific period. And that, for me, that was really Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars type territory, but pre-G.I. Joe and pre-Ninja Turtles. But that's when my cousin, that kind of peak influence time hit my cousins, and that's why they went on to become life obsessed and then writers for it. But that's right. The time frames when you really get into stuff as a kid, I guess, is very specific. So you would have been like what, 7 or 8 years old in like 1950?
No, so in I guess I started collecting comics in the 1970s, late 70s.
Wow, I was just a baby.
X-Men. I was around when Kitty Pryde. Maybe you don't know who Kitty Pryde is from X-Men when she first appeared. No. She's the girl who can go through walls and shit. So. Yeah, I've got her first appearance.
I respect that in a woman.
By the way, Legit Outlaw, who's a very cool woman. She was at the Hanami. She had a big bottle of Jim Beam, Huge bottle.
Respect. Yes, that's the bigger the bottle, the more the respect.
And I still have it. I didn't drink it all, but I still have it. Yes, it's an awesome bottle. I don't have the shot glass. I hope you have the shot glass because I couldn't find the shot glass.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one piece of news.
Yes.
One piece of news. Another piece of news that's interesting. I talked about this last night, but your audience should know.
Yeah.
Our old friends, TokyoZeplin.
Yes, TokyoZeplin.
And BlkUnk.
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 Yes.
BlkUnk are making a movie, and they've already completed the trailer.
No shit.
And it looks pretty good. I mean, of course, it looks.
I'm so out of touch. You serious?
It looks indie, but it looks pretty cool.
No. But those guys. Here's the thing. I mean, yeah, I would not even hesitate to watch and recommend. They made a movie that's so cool because I know it's going to be.
Well, they're
awesome.
in the middle of still making it, but they've got the trailer done, and they've got a Kickstarter that already hit its limit. But they're hoping that if we mention them, they'll get a few more contributions. I mean, it's that so many people believe in them that they've already filled up.
I believe in them. I mean, in both of their own ways. Well, this is the thing. Yeah. Really creative people and really successful. You think about some of the greatest athletes, or Sir Edmund Hillary, the first guy to climb Everest, and a New Zealander from my high school. You hear about so many great sportsmen or creative people, and you hear that in their personal lives. Albert Einstein, apparently a lot of them are real dicks, in personal life, but that's kind of part of the what makes them kind of cool, right? They don't.
So you're agreeing with me that TokyoZeplin and BlkUnk are both dicks?
In their own ways, but that's what makes them kind of cool. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there are some people who are dicks, and they've got absolutely nothing to back it up, right? But these are guys who can, in my book, have a kind of a pass because they've got redeeming aspects, and where both of their redeeming aspects are that they just have talent, creative talent.
Yes, no, and they know that I don't really think they're dicks, but yeah, it's called Japanese movie MTN Mountain. Well, and they've got a Kickstarter, and they've got 50 hours left on the Kickstarter. And I'm gonna throw in $20 or something in that area.
You got a link for it? If you message the link back to me on Facebook now.
I can't. Okay.
Where I sent you the link for the Hangout, send me the link for it, and I'm going to put it under the video information right now. Okay. And I'm going to make everyone refresh the video, which is going to double the views on the video, and then everybody can see.
Okay, here's the link to their Kickstarter.
I'm gonna go and donate to the Kickstarter. Okay. I'm not even gonna hesitate about that. If that's.
I'm gonna give you the link to the Kickstarter in a second. Here we go.
Yeah.
Just a minute. And there it is. Tell me if that works. You get that?
I got it. Yeah. Kickstarter. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom.
Okay. So yeah, they got a Kickstarter. They've got 50 hours left on it.
MTN. Okay. This looks.
And they raised, I think they raised a little bit more money last night. I'm not sure. 30.
So how have they been promoting? I mean, again, I'm just guilty of just missing everything. But
well, they emailed me, but they didn't really need our help. But they were hoping that we would throw a little bit of whatever, Gaijin, 2.5 Oyaji, and Moron Juice behind them. So, but I always support anybody who's doing anything really creative. So.
Well. And with these guys, the thing for me is I've got real faith in the creative abilities of these guys. So I'm gonna boom. I wonder if no wait. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, now I went to edit the video information, but if for some reason it's telling me maybe I can't update this video while the video info.
I think you can't wait, but tell it. But I did the title. The title is Japanese. On Kickstarter, the title is Japanese/International Short Film : MTN. I'll just give the.
I'm gonna put it in my lower third. Hang on a sec. Boom.
Even if you cannot, yeah, good idea. We'll do that. Here it is in my lower. No, that's not. It didn't work. Yeah.
Let me just quickly shout, and there it is. Will it all fit in? Maybe it won't all fit in. Boom.
Japanese.
Boom. I don't know if it'll all.
Okay, we'll figure that out. Anyway, here's the thing about these guys. We often have disagreed on certain things in the past, which is good because when we, like I told you, like I thought in my head, when we promote these guys, it's sincere, because we wouldn't bullshit you on. If we thought it was bullshit, we wouldn't tell you. Yeah, because these are people that we can talk.
We might be bullshitting you, not telling you. There's a possibility of that.
We could have been pretending all these years just so we could screw you up.
Why would I lie to you? When have I ever lied to you? Honestly, trust me. No, these guys are.
The name, but go to Kickstarter, and after the video's over, they've got 50 hours left. So this is
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to quickly scan down the other shoutouts. That is an awesome and worthwhile shout out. So I'm gonna tweet the information for that later after this. In fact, I might even do that like pretty soon. Just going through the other. Good I mean, man, it's good always to see how many people there are here, and man, there are so many. This is awesome. So, and you know what? I think just by refreshing this thing, I'm going to miss some of the comments. But there's Nike G. We've got Cowboy in Japan, Razogu. Elise in Nihon, good to see you. Japan with Regan, good to see you. Awful at spelling, sorry about that. Gaijin Shane.
I've got a video coming out later on Give Me BlkUnk with Regan and Gaijin Shane tonight.
Yeah. And there was the guy from Costa Rica. There was Mecca. There was a Spanish guy saying he was checking from Costa Rica. And Costa Rica is like, seriously, like one of those countries. I really want to go surfing there.
Beautiful country. I've been there.
Mecca Izagire, good to see you, and that's right. I'm a big fan of Costa Rica. No, they have no military. They're one of the few countries in the world with no military.
We should invade and take it over, so we can use it anytime we want.
Yes, apparently. I knew a couple of Costa Ricans in New Zealand are my Spanish teachers, and they're cool people. I'll go.
How is your army? I don't know anything about the New Zealand army. You guys got an army?
Yeah,
are you like Canada? No, just kidding.
My dad was in the army. Yeah. We. I tell you, nobody touches our sheep. That's except us. Except us. Us, we get a pass, but we have a military.
We're having a question. Someone wants to know what your T-shirt says.
My T-shirt. It's Charlie Brown saying, "Tell me a story." Uniqlo, 700
yen. On sale last weekend.
I'm living large. That's right. I actually got it at Haneda Airport on the way to Singapore, where I was last week.
I've got to show. I think I've shown my T-shirt to other people. I'll show you, but you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well, while he does that, so Ronnie and Dave, good to see you. Drydging, we'll go MSL Links, good to see you. Austin Richardson, well, Zombie meets Girl.
Like that?
That's cool. That's a good shirt.
It's got a little zombie on the back too.
Ketchup in Japan, good to see you. Django 1989. Ahmed Zombia, always good to see you. And boom, that's Peter Subarashi, good to see you again. Man, it's funny, you got the karaoke presence and the dancing and the stage thing, but let's work on the vocals. I'm going to give you some Harry Connick advice. All you have to do is sing in tune and you'll be there. But it was awesome hanging out with you, Peter Subarashi, at karaoke as well. It was good to see you.
Have you met Ecstatic Jack yet?
I'm not sure I have.
He's the guy who longboarded across Japan.
Ah, okay. Oh, which, by the way,
and he raised a lot of money for orphan kids.
Yeah, I remember that project, and yeah, it's one of those projects I was meant to kind of help more with, and I never got around to.
He's doing another project now. We got to get him on the show sometime.
Yeah. I by the way, I've got a secret that I'm gonna not tell you, which is that I met someone this week, kind of special, but I can't tell you who.
You're married, man. You can't be talking like that anymore.
Yeah. It is actually complicated in that sense. It is. So I guess sometime you're gonna find out. But it was kind of cool. It will come out. It was kind of.
We're gonna have him on the show.
We may or may not. I don't know. It's just kind of well, it could happen. But no. This is a strictly. This was all done in a very very hush confidential. I'm not allowed to disclose. But it will come out.
Be that way. You want to be that way? Fine. Okay.
That's right.
By the way, what happened to that guy we're supposed to interview who wrote that book about Yakuza?
Yeah, Jake Adelstein. I keep talking about. I gotta hit him up. I mean,
you're right. It is Adelstein.
As well.
I knew that, but I kept saying Adelstein myself too. I don't know why.
I don't know why. Whenever I see Stein, I just think Steen. But no, I'm pretty sure now it is Stein. I just like mispronouncing people's names deliberately.
There he is. By the way, he friended me on Pinterest, so I just took that as a sign that he's going to come on the show.
Yeah,
or he's be my friend on Pinterest. It must mean something.
Either that, or he's going to send you lots of like penis pictures or something. Be careful.
Well, either way, I got something we can talk on the show.
That's right.
Today we'll be discussing Jake Adelstein's penis. Yeah, as you can tell, he is indeed Jewish. All right. The photos are clear. They're in 4K.
2K is quite enough. Thank you. Yes. No, so by the way, somebody mentioned, and again, they kind of refreshed, and I missed the whole thing, but someone, when we talked about movies, someone said that the new Japan Godzilla movie, or the new Godzilla, actually, there's going to be a Japan Godzilla movie, but the Bryan Cranston Godzilla movie, by the way, When I heard they're making another Godzilla movie, I'm like, oh my god, please! There have been enough Godzilla movies already and remakes already.
It looks good.
It looks really good.
Everyone says that's the movie.
It.
What are you looking for with this? Everyone says that one, Planet of the Apes, and X-Men, the X-Men movie. Those three.
Yeah.
Anything else this year?
I don't know. They're doing Planet of the Apes again.
Yeah, it's going to be good. They got rid of the whole cast except for the
Diggler.
except for the original chimpanzee, whatever that thing is. It's a chimp, right? Yes, it's a chimp.
It's a monkey. I don't know. Yeah.
The guy who's the name of the guy? He's a New Zealander, isn't it? The guy who plays the original chimp, or he's British?
I can't tell the difference. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, and I don't know for some reason.
He's been nominated for an Oscar. You know that guy,
Sam Neill,
the guy who does the precious, my precious, my
Peter
precious.
Jackson.
The guy who they dress up in green and he does all the acting. Andy Serkis, Caesar.
Is he New Zealand? I don't even know. I'm out of touch.
No, West London. I'm sorry, West London, England. Yep. He does look like a bit like a chimp, though. I gotta tell you.
Ra's al Ghul. And by the way, I can't comment, but my Argonauts maybe. And Albo Rosario got the 4K GH4 camera, which I'm kind of jealous of, but I'm not super jealous of. But that's kind of cool. But yes. Anyway, with movies and stuff, no. Some people. There are lots of cool movies coming out. It's the great thing about traveling is I get to see movies, which I did, which is kind of cool. But let's talk about news. I mean, so Abe is here. No, Abe is here. Abe is always here. I'm sorry. Obama. I got those two mixed up. So I don't know. What's your take on all the Obama hype? Is there any Obama hype down in Nagoya? Because you wouldn't.
Well, I've seen him on the news. I've seen him on the news here, and I knew he was coming, but I didn't know when exactly. Yeah. You know, I don't really know what's happening. Well, why is he here? I know. Oh yeah, they're talking about they're going to have some amazing lunch for him, and they were discussing the chefs because last year apparently they had a working lunch with the French, and of course because it's a president, it's got to be even better than that, and they're trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah. So, well, they've got it very compact at the moment. He's staying in the Okura, which is right beside the U.S. Embassy. Right in the center of Tokyo, and apparently all the places he's going out are all in the immediate kind of walking distance area. So if you live or work anywhere around that area, and I work near there, it's just completely insanely. I've never seen, and I think this is what happens as well for these events. They actually literally bus in police from all over. It's like a huge convention. Police. It's like a national police convention. And they pretty much just walk around the streets in groups like tourists. There's really nothing for them to do. I mean, it was interesting today. Who is that guy?
That's Andy Serkis. That's the guy who does the. He's going to play the chimp.
Is he a New Zealander? He must be a British guy because I'd probably know if he was a New Zealander. But yeah,
Oscar nomination. He does the Avatar stuff, Lord of the Rings, Planet of the Apes, all those animals. He played the original King Kong or the new original King Kong.
Wow, they did a great job with the makeup. Although he does have the facial hair already started, so it was probably he'll be material to work with. But so the security thing has been insane. Of course, I think there's a good-looking man.
Yeah, good-looking man.
So, yeah, I think originally the plan probably was, and all the pressure was that he was going to come here to agree on the TPP. Which, by the way, I have this thing with the TPP. Whenever I hear someone talk about the TPP,
toilet paper.
Well, there's TP, but I always get this thing with Naughty by Nature, OPP, which is just one of the hip hop anthems of the 80s. Was it 80s or early 90s? So whenever I hear someone talk about the TPP, I always think, yeah, you know me, and I get kind of stuck. You get that?
No,
is that just me?
What are you
know what I'm talking about? You don't know OPP by Naughty by Nature?
No.
Oh, I don't know. It's got a really catchy chorus of You got the TPP, yeah, you know me. You got the TPP, and yes, I've got the TPP. I want the TPP. There's been a lot of anti-TPP process. Oh, by the way, there's another good-looking man, and I like his.
Well, that's why Obama's here. Apparently, they did mention that on the news. They said he's here to talk about this guy.
Well, yeah, he's actually preparing a celebratory fireworks display, from what I understand.
Oh, really?
You hear about this?
No,
they're actually preparing a nuclear test at the moment, so that'll be funny. They figure they'll get Obama as close as possible and probably blow themselves up with the bomb so large they'll hopefully catch Tokyo. I think that's the plan. So yes, that's right. So these are the three stories right now. And Key Ranger, he was getting so excited. He's like, "Oh my god, dudes! For two and a half Oyajis, you have DPRK." Which, by the way, I don't like to call it DPRK. It's like the abbreviation for North Korea, but
Yes.
that's such a retarded name for that country. I mean, no, we have to call it the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Are you
I
serious?
know, that's ridiculous.
Are you fucking serious? So yes, they have that, but. So we've got the nuclear bomb test getting ready in North Korea to celebrate the visit of Obama to Japan for the TPP that they're not going to be able to sign, and and then all happening where just before he came, the government's been announced that they're going to resume the scientific whaling, and a bunch of people have visited like Yasukuni Ginger like 10 times, including it sounds like at first he sent a bunch of cabinet ministers and then he sent Justin Bieber, and there's a good-looking woman. I don't know. I mean. Yeah,
I got a picture that will shock
I'm
you.
disturbed that you keep a photo of her. Oh, that's a very good looking man. Although you can't see the hair. I please, if you're gonna crop it, at least crop it in a way that shows the hair. You need to talk to put it on the big screen. Just put it up there.
Where's the zoom effect on here? Hold on.
Yeah, you don't, dude. Why are you cropping out my hair? Come on, you have one photo of me with hair.
I can't get your hair. It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know,
People will never believe that I had hair.
Look, it's weird. The camera doesn't want to show your hair. That's amazing.
Well, it's like the whole freaking internet is against my hair. What the hell? That's me at 23 years old working in a factory on a laptop in a prefabricated room with bruises on my knees, not from being on them, but from banging them on the bottom of the table all the time.
Bruises on your knees from. Okay, there you go. Is that better?
That's kind of better. So yes, that is me with a full head of hair at 23 years old. See if you can zoom in on that on the hair. Can you not zoom in on the hair?
Yes, I'll do it. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Finally.
Zoom in on the hair. Oh.
There you go. The hair. It does exist. It's like the Mars. It's like the Mars, the water on Mars. Is it really there, and what's it for?
I was a good-looking man. I was.
You're still a good-looking man.
I'm a good-looking man.
Now you look like someone's bitch in jail. Now it looks like no one would want to fuck with you in jail.
I look like the Gakuranman. That's what really disturbs me. I kind of had the whole thing.
He's a good-looking guy too.
He is a good-looking guy, and I'm pretty sure he's probably doing things that are going to make him bald one day as well, while everyone's not looking.
Hopefully not involving sheep, though.
Not involving sheep. No. Well, that's one reason. That's why I came to Japan.
To break your addiction.
Well, to at least transfer to distract the attention.
All right.
So I don't know with Obama. So you've had in a lot of ways. I don't know though. So Obama's a Detroit guy, right? He's a pro car industry guy.
Yeah. Well, anyone who's American is pro car. Cars are American.
Yeah, well, I can't. You're right. I can't think of an anti-car guy, but among car lovers, among car lovers and car industry protectors, and we'll bail out GM and we'll put restrictions on Toyota if they ever sell more cars than American makers. That's the Democrats' wheelhouse, right? In terms of their support, in terms of when you have the Democratic conventions and the United Auto Workers and all that sort of stuff. That's hardcore. And even among those Democrats, those are the guys who lifted Obama up above Clinton, right? It was the car unions and the car companies. So you're talking hardcore, backed by interests that are never really friendly to Japan. And this is one of the issues that Japan always has with Democrats. I mean, Clinton was always very friendly to China and kind of prickly to Japan, and everyone's like, what the hell's with that problem? And there's kind of a trend. I mean, just for whatever reason, Republicans are always just kind of nicer to Japan, and it's just kind of like there is an impression within Japan that Democrats are just always not Japan friendly, and I think there's been a little bit of that during Obama's first term.
Japan, I don't know if you get this, but I think the American Republican Party has more of an old boys mentality, and that's basically what Japan's political system is.
It is pretty compatible, isn't it? If you think about the LDP as well. But then you had this ironic situation that, again, if you think that if American liberals are thinking about supporting liberals worldwide, then Hillary Clinton and Obama should have been delighted to have Khan and Hatoyama as prime ministers in Japan. But yet, the last time that Hillary came to Japan, I think she literally chased Hatoyama around a room with a baseball bat, and made him cry and break all those campaign promises and resign. I mean, it was actually kind of spectacular. She's a Democrat, but basically saying to an idealist Japanese prime minister, don't screw with our security treaty. That was kind of, so I don't know. So again, we had kind of a really rocky first term of Obama with Japan relations, And now we're trying again with this TPP thing, and the negotiations have been going on forever. One really awesome thing about the TPP news, whenever it's on NHK every night, is that the head of the the real thing for Americans is they want to protect their cars and sell more cars in Japan, which just make decent cars. There are no tariffs.
Yes,
they always complain about these non-tariff barriers, i.e., people don't like their shit cars, and they complain about that like it's a trade issue. But yeah, so they've got the and on the Japan side, of course, you've got that they want to put a 3,000% tariff on foreign rice and never allow foreign meat and all these kind of agricultural tariffs to protect these average age now in excess of 65. The average age of farmers in Japan now exceeds the retirement age, so they are literally going to be dying out soon.
What? Really?
And I think that's part of the reason that Japan decided to get into the TPP thing. They actually realized that they're protecting an industry of people who are all going to be dead soon. Japan's not going to have a food supply as a result. So it might be time to open up the free trade thing.
Well, they'll have the food supply. It'll just be imported.
It'll be imported. But at the moment, there are all these tariffs to stop imports and that rip off Japanese consumers to pay huge subsidies to these old farmers who basically are the backbone of the LDP. They come from these small constituencies where their votes are worth 5 times as much as votes in places like where you and I live. And, those politicians are the ones, their whole mission in life is to make sure that subsidies keep going back to their farmers and that foreign agricultural products are not allowed into Japan. But what I love is that, so whenever they get the voice of the agricultural guys against the TPP, they always go to the head of the Japan Agriculture, the JA Association, whose name, he's got a weird name I've never seen before. And I don't know what his first name is, but his last name is Banzai, and they always call him Banzai Kaicho. And I'm just thinking, man, that guy must have the most awesome upbringing. Everybody shouts Banzai at you all the time. Hey, Banzai, yeah. Could you imagine being in a school with a kid called Banzai? But that's literally his name. I think it's like the most awesome Japanese name I've ever heard.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad ones out there too. Like Baba.
Baba. Oh, I know a lot of Babas actually. I got actually I know in every sense of that word.
Oh yeah, real Baba.
More than I like to admit.
For those of you who don't know, means old woman, but it's also someone's last name.
Yeah, you don't know anything about EastEnders, do you? No, you wouldn't. You don't watch Cockney London soap operas.
Yeah, I watch them. Misfits.
Okay, I don't, but apparently Ra's al Ghul says I remind him of Max Branning from EastEnders, which I wouldn't know what that means.
Oh, that show? No, I don't know the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because
Max Brule.
Narcissist says that's harsh, so there may be a world of pain coming from that. I don't know. Who cares? Amish, Nike G got you. You said all Americans love cars, but Nike G, he's like, what about the Amish?
No, they're not Americans. They're like German imports.
They're not Americans. They don't like cars. They're not Americans.
I wonder if Amish people had to go to war. I mean, like, were they during the Vietnam War? Did they force them to go?
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question. I mean, they would fall in the category of conscientious objectors, which I think America didn't treat very kindly. New Zealand never treated them very kindly. We put them into concentration camps.
Well, we stripped the Muhammad Ali, or Cassius Clay as he was called then, of his heavyweight title.
What's my name? Say my name. That was kind of Cassius. I actually have a friend who named their kid Cassius lately. I was thinking that's kind of awesome, but just remember he might change his name to Muhammad one day.
Oh no. But what was the other? So what's going on with Bieber? Tell me about that.
Bieber. All that I know is I watched my first source for news, which is Nichan aggregate blogs, where they showed that Bieber visiting Japan posted 2 photos on Instagram of Yasukuni Shrine, saying, "Look, a cool temple." I think it was literally something like that. And basically, all the Japanese are like, kind of like, "What? That's kind of cool, but what are you doing there?" But yes, it was.
He already apologized, though, the bastard.
Did he? So this is it.
Justin Bieber said sorry after visiting Yasukuni Shrine. Justin Bieber said sorry and insisted he loved Japan and China, and he couldn't tell the difference anyway. Before he stepped into a bitter fight over history by visiting a controversial war shrine. War shrine? Is it a war shrine? I guess it is.
I mean, he probably can't tell the difference, but would he actually admit to that?
Well, Japanese can't tell the difference between Americans and Canadians, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sorry, there's a difference. I mean, I know that the money's different, they've got the Queen on it, but apart from that... Okay,
So he put it up on Instagram. He said the troubled Canadian pop singer posted a snap of himself at Yasukuni Shrine on his Instagram account.
Right. So I imagine he probably got a lot of, but
he has 51 million followers.
Yeah, and you know
that's 50.9 more than I do.
That's like 1 million more followers than there are angry Koreans at him at the moment, but still
1 million less actually.
Is it 52? I don't know, but
yeah. What is the population of Korea? I forgot.
It's 50. It's 50. Oh, it's a 50-ish.
I thought it was less. Really?
Well, I don't know. It's always going up and down, I guess, but it's roughly 50. But yeah.
How did you hear about this, and what did you hear on Niche? What were they saying on Niche about this?
Well, literally, I just saw on the In-sane news that he posted a couple of Instagram photos, and everyone's like, "Yeah, hey, this cool guy, good guy, good on you, good move, man." And so basically, of course, you know, Nietzsche being mostly shut-ins and people living with their, you know, guys living with their moms with free time on the internet, and that's the demographic of people who go, Bieber, go to Yasukuni. And I'm sure he probably increased the number of illegal downloads of his songs as a result of going there. But yes, you know, maybe he kind of didn't know what he was doing. But Joe Casey, nice troll. Joe Casey saying Bieber, a good emblem for USA.
I'd say it was a good troll.
And everybody's going down saying
he must have done it on purpose. What do you think?
Who knows? But at the end of the day, and this is another thing. Well, for one thing, Yasukuni's nice, and the museum
it's a beautiful place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit fascisty, but it's actually kind of a good museum. You know, my mum used to work at the New Zealand War Memorial Museum, and you know, which, you know, sheep at war, and you know, compared to that, the Yasukuni Museum is like really, really good. As a kid who spent a lot of time hanging out at war museums, just because I lived in army camps with them. The one at Yasukuni, credit to them. I mean, you know, the narrative that they give of the history.
I have never heard anyone say they hung out growing up in war museums.
Yeah. Well, that's I'm a special person. But yeah, you know, it's true. So you walk around through. I mean, yeah, literally in the museum in Yasukuni, where it reports like the events leading up to World War II, and it shows like the news stories and stuff like that. But it literally shows the news stories as they were broadcast in Japan at the time. Mm-hmm. So for of course, you know, Japan moved you know, into China as a defensive action in response to the destruction of the Manchurian Railway by Chinese terrorists, which, you know, is now known historically and is conceded by everyone, including Japanese government, you know, as being that was done by the Kanto army. That was, you know, it was a staged incident.
That's admitted, yes.
But if you go to the museum there, it still says that all those incidents were actually done by Chinese terrorists, you know, as provocations.
It still says that there?
It still says that. It still says that.
You're kidding.
But
I was there, but I don't remember that. Yeah, okay.
But the whole point of that shrine is to kind of remember the history in the eyes of the people who went through it. I guess that's part of it. But of course, if you're someone who's very sensitive about these things and you go in there, it is propagating the propaganda-based view of history that was broadcast at the time, which Japan's supposed to have set aside after the war and is supposed to have gone. You know, there's obviously no reflection.
In that,
in all the wrong that was done with the war, but I suppose if you want to look at that sympathetically, the way that I'd interpret it sympathetically as well, but that's how. In the end of the day, the 30 million people in that shrine, the people who died, are the regular Joes who were sitting around watching the news and reading the newspaper, and they thought that there was a war, and they thought they'd been attacked by China, and they thought they were doing something. I'm sure most of the regular Joes who go to war at any place, They like to think that they might be doing something right or something good, and they're doing their duty and whatever. And I don't.
Let me ask you a question.
They're mostly bad people.
Do you believe that the word criminal, war criminal?
Yeah.
Do you believe that don't you think that word is just a little bit convenient? As in, if Japan had won the war, don't you think that the same labels would have been put all over the Americans or?
No question. In fact, so there's actually, and this is where I'm getting old and tired, but McNamara, you know, like the guy oversaw I mean, there's the documentaries. For some reason, there was a bunch of blogs recently about the fire bombing raids, which happened, you know, all over Japan, and they destroyed all of the major cities in Japan. Nagoya was almost completely flattened. Tokyo was completely flattened. And the statistics on the number of people that they killed and the level of destruction which they caused. McNamara was a statistician for the Air Force during the Second World War, and apparently they were doing high-level they're trying to do strategic bombing raids where they're trying to hit specific targets, and it was a real problem over Tokyo because Tokyo has this kind of crazy jet stream, high-speed winds that go over it, which just made bombs, it made it impossible to hit anything accurately. And apparently McNamara created a report showing that the bombers were more effective at wiping out, at creating damage and hitting targets if they flew low and dropped incendiaries that just kind of wiped everything out rather than trying to do everything from high up. And apparently his report led to the guy who decided the air bombing strategy to completely change everything from an approach of literally trying to target strategic targets, just trying to kill as many people as possible and flattening these cities. And both McNamara and the guy who developed that policy of literally a policy of trying to kill every civilian in every city in Japan, admitted openly that they would have been they recognized that they would have been treated as war criminals if they lost the war. That was a strategy. Exactly. That was a straight up strategy of trying to kill as many people as possible to break the morale of the enemy, and that's kind of, and on some level, I mean that's exactly kind of what you talk about the war crimes. We committed by all sides. I mean, you can always say that the intent of that was to break the will of the other side to fight. If you do something crazy and big enough, I mean, that's why in Yugoslavia they round up whole towns of men and kill them, is to stop, reduce their ability to fight, to end the war sooner, and this whole convoluted explanation that the A bombs saved lives because they broke the will of the enemy to fight on. But they did it by killing babies and women and old people.
No, that would break pretty much anyone's will.
But so the purpose. So in the end of the day, if you're terrible enough and you actually terrorize them to the point of breaking their spirits, then it's not a war crime anymore. It actually becomes a good thing because you end up saving net lives. That there's that kind of math that they use to justify them.
Yeah.
That the US uses to justify. But clearly, no. Only there's been an interesting
fucked up logic, but yeah.
It's fucked up logic, which really applied until the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War, I think, so I did international law. America, to its credit, is, I believe, one of the only countries that's ever tried, it might be different now, but when I was in law school in the 90s, America is the only country to have ever tried its own soldiers for war crimes. And that was with regards to the My Lai incident in Vietnam. They actually did try the soldiers, and they got like a slap on the wrist. They got a couple of years in military jail for literally...
Wait a minute. You mean in those days? But they've done it many times since then.
Well, yeah, so I think now it happens now that there is actual now legal discipline and accountability. I mean, even if in Afghanistan, I think there have been a couple of cases of soldiers who have just gone kind of nuts and gone and massacred people and been arrested for it. But the first time that was ever done in history was in the Vietnam War, where literally that sort of thing happened, where a platoon wiped out a village. So now there is kind of this thing that now some Western countries at least have started prosecuting their own people for war crimes, for what would be treated as war crimes in the old days. So it's changing, but certainly until that time, until the Vietnam War, and maybe it's changing now, but certainly, yeah, that's right. I mean, this is why the first rule of war is don't lose. Because if you lose, then all the other rules of law apply to you. If you win, then you get a free pass on all the other rules, and that's why you had a total war situation, that everyone was just throwing everything they could at each other because they didn't want to be held accountable. And same with America. I mean, America didn't want to be held accountable any more than the Germans and the Japanese did for the way that they fought that war.
Right.
So you're right, and so there is this kind of hypocrisy to some extent that the Japanese, in the end, what was their worst crime perhaps wasn't Nanking. Their worst crime was losing first, which when you think about it, cost tens of millions of Japanese lives, let alone the lives of the other people that they were guilty of taking. That's a cynical way of looking at it. So yeah, of course, it was victor's justice, and there are people who are boner about that. And I've talked with a lot of right-wing friends about that. How don't you agree that the Yasukuni thing is about victor's justice? And I'd say, well, sure, but in the end of the day, that's their penalty for losing.
Right. The victor's right history, right?
And they owe that to Japan. I mean, they kind of. I mean, you think about how many Japanese people those people are responsible for sending to their deaths. If you ask me, it's kind of, even if the logic was flawed, it was probably the right conclusion. That's my view on that. But
even if the logic was flawed, it's you
still end up at the right place in the end.
Oh, okay.
In the end of the day,
the punishment was still there.
Tojo and the wartime cabinet were absolutely, they should have been held accountable for getting Japan into that war in the first place. Whether they were, whether it was victor's justice or whether they were, whether the claims were exaggerated or whether it was hypocritical. At the end of the day, they should have been held accountable by their own people in Japan for getting them into that, for the fact that they put Japan in a war that led to so many Japanese people getting killed, just for that alone, let alone all the things that Japan may or may not have been accountable for outside of that. I think the end conclusion was still probably right.
What do you think? Have you seen the movie The Emperor?
I saw half of it on an airplane.
Oh, yeah?
I only saw the beginning, but during the whole, the investigation of the war criminals by the guy from Lost, who for life is going to be typecast by that, yes.
Yeah, poor guy. He's a pretty good actor, actually. But my students were really interested in that movie.
Yeah.
Who's in that movie? Tommy Lee Jones? Yeah. Which is surprising. That's such a controversial movie to be in, right? And he's such a big star here, Tommy Lee Jones. He's loved for his coffee commercials.
He played MacArthur, though, and this is the other thing. I mean, Japanese loved MacArthur. I mean, MacArthur's probably up there with Koizumi as one of Japan's most popular ever leaders. Actually, you won't find a Japanese person who's got a bad. Well, maybe far leftists. Even the leftists loved him. I mean, he almost got the Communist Party elected, the democratically elected government of Japan. That's why he got fired, because he was so nice to the leftists. I don't know. Everyone seems to really like MacArthur.
I didn't know that.
yeah, he was really, really popular.
I knew he was popular, but I thought there was quite a few people who resented the way he treated the emperor. The famous picture where he's standing off from him, and he doesn't want to show him any respect.
Well, yeah, and again, I can't really speak to the mindset of most people about it. But I've always had nothing but I've never seen or heard much other than positive stuff about him and nostalgic stuff about about him. Even the Japanese do resent. I mean, Abe represents the whole mindset of that the occupation by GHQ was humiliating.
What?
Well, the whole idea that the occupation, the rule of Japan for 10 years by GHQ, and the imposition by MacArthur of the crappy constitution with the ban on war and everything. Right. That's all kind of that's a legacy of the humiliation of being ruled by MacArthur. He
respected quite a few Japanese generals. I think there's a MacArthur Park in Texas somewhere.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. I think it was June and maybe I'm mixing up the emperor, but I think the general. But I think it was June and Rachel did a video on that.
Okay.
They exchanged gardens or whatever. The Japanese built a garden in to honor him. So you're right. Yeah, they liked him.
Yeah, I think generally he was well liked, and he was well liked on both sides of the spectrum. I mean,
I didn't know it was so great.
His liberal legacy in Japan was really remarkable, and he's not really thought of probably in America as being a very liberal guy. I mean, he was fired for advocating dropping nuclear weapons on China during the Korean War, and that's why Truman fired him from that role. But at the same time, he was very, in terms of the way that he administered Japan, he was very much about putting all the fascists in jail and truly democratizing Japan. And because of that, and the Article 9 of the Constitution, which he got some university students to write in crayon and impose in Japan, and the leftists love him for that. But
no more war clause.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. So you talk about all the things about Obama coming to Japan right now. One of the things is that the U.S. State Department, a bunch of politicians and military brass, everyone's like, this whole thing about Japan wants to reinterpret the Constitution to give more power to its military. And China's waging this propaganda campaign against Japan, saying, look, Abe is trying to remilitarize Japan, and it's like the 1930s again. And they're trying to, spook everybody about Japan's remilitarization. But America came out, and Obama, and everyone's coming out at the moment in America. Oh, yeah, this is what we always wanted. We want Japan to pick up some of the tab and some of the burden and to pull some of its weight militarily. And everybody's saying, oh, it's great news that Japan's going to lift off some of the shackles of its pacifism, which were imposed on Japan in the first place by America. They changed their minds about it. America really wanted Japan. I mean, you know how America forced Korea to join in the Vietnam War?
Oh, really? I don't know about that.
Korean. Oh, yeah. Well,
they forced them? How do they force them?
Well, basically.
I believe you. I don't know the story.
Well, in the Vietnam War, I mean, I think South Korea was like the second biggest foreign contributor. They were almost equal numbers to the United States.
I know that they were there, but I didn't know it was. I thought they were just being.
They were strongly leaned upon, and they were a dictatorship, so you only had to lean on one or two people to make them do it. But they were strongly leaned upon that their whole state of existence was very much the same as South Korea would stop existing, and especially in the 60s and 70s, they could have stopped existing in a day or two if America ever withdrew its support. In the same way that South Korea is a lot like South Vietnam, and America was always arguing, well, we committed our blood to save you guys, and now we want you to commit your blood to helping us, to saving them.
Right.
And there was this moral position that Korea was.
Well, it makes sense.
And they complain about it. So there's this whole thing now with the Koreans.
Like
they kind of resent that they were forced to go and fight in Vietnam by America. They blame America for it. It wasn't like it wasn't.
I'm pretty sure they blame Japan for it.
I'm sure ultimately they blame Japan for it. But the thing is, America obviously. And the thing was, if MacArthur hadn't been such a leftist wuss and given Japan the pacifist free pass constitution, which America thought immediately was a huge mistake. I mean, I'm sure America would have wanted nothing more than to have Japan help it fight in Vietnam and Korea. But they got a little bit too liberal and idealistic under MacArthur's time, and that's given Japan a free pass on all these stupid wars that America's fought since World War II. But now that they're hearing that Japan's changing its mind and Japan's going to help out, they're very happy, because of course Japan's got one of the biggest best funded militaries in the world.
I think top 5 in the world, right?
Something like that.
America, England. What's up there? China, of course, right?
I mean, Russia's up there to some extent. China's definitely up there.
I don't know who spends it,
but yeah, so great. I mean, America, all of a sudden, it's like getting another France, or getting another Britain, or someone that can help them whenever they need an alliance to go and invade Iran or Libya or whatever, Syria or whatever they want to go and invade.
Here it is: America, China, Russia. What's KSA? Is
KSA?
Korea? KSA. What's KSA?
I don't know. Is that Korea?
Korea? Korea and South? No. What's KSA? I must be stupid. How do I not know this country exists?
North Korea.
USA, China. No, Russia.
Is this by
Saudi Arabia? How is Saudi Arabia called KSA? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's it.
But so that's obviously by money put in rather than.
Yes, and then France.
Yeah.
And then England, and then Japan. It used to be number 5. I'm pretty sure they were up higher.
Yeah. Well, they're always up there. I mean,
Top
Japan.
10.
So.
Then India, and then South Korea. That's interesting. South Korea's still in the top 10 too.
Yeah, well, that's because they've got conscription. Everybody in the country has to join the military there. In Japan, it's still voluntary. But from America's perspective, where they're always looking to spend less on the military lately, having someone with the resources of Japan willing to help them out on their collective security commitments, I'm sure they're very happy about that. So this is the whole thing. Everyone's trying to put in all these scaremongering about them, but yeah, it's funny. America is actually celebrating Japan remilitarizing, even though it was America that forced them to be pacifist in the first place. And China is the one scaremongering about the remilitarization, even though it's what America wants. Right. And it was only ever not that way because America made it that way. Oh, and Obama as well. So his first speech in Japan, I can't see that graph. You have to zoom it out or something.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
The first ever speech that Obama made, he offered basically a total straight up commitment that America would defend the Senkaku Islands for Japan.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You're trolling me, aren't you?
No, he straight up. He said, that's Japanese territory. Cut it out, China. Of course, that's part of the security commitments. Japan's in control of those islands, and we recognize that as being subject to the security treaty, and we will defend Japan. He said it straight up. So if anyone was thinking that all these Yasukuni visits and all this kind of hoopla going around Abe at the moment might have made Obama standoffish around Abe, no, he's totally giving Abe what he wants, except for these concessions on the TPP.
I'm impressed.
But you know what? I bet you he's going to be leveraging all this friendliness for auto import concessions on TPP negotiations. I bet you he's going to say, Abe, I'm going to give you an open. I'm going to give you a free pass with Yasukuni. I'm going to give you a free pass. I'm going to give you a clear backing on the Senkaku Islands. I'm going to send Justin Bieber to Yasukuni. I'm going to do all of these things, and you have to sell less Toyotas and sell more Dodges in Japan.
Yes.
That's going to be his criteria.
Huh. Could be. Who knows?
Peter Subarashi, good statistic there, actually. It didn't show up on your chart. Australia is one of the largest boomerang armies in the world. Not many people know that.
Yes, if for some reason all gunpowder is destroyed.
Yeah. Ahmed Zombia with some strong words about Saudi Arabia. You're not a fan of Saudi Arabia? I'm always, Saudi's kind of like, I mean, so, it's really been interesting hearing.
They're kind of the 1%ers, right? The Middle East.
But man, these guys, the Saudis have been funding every one of these kind of insurgencies, basically these kind of these radical backed insurgencies, the one in Libya, the one in Kosovo, the one in Chechnya, and now in Syria. I mean, that was all basically funded and paid for, and it's kind of come out in the open now. And the Saudis now are looking at Syria as a complete disaster, that they basically encouraged the groups that started the civil war against the government, the uprising in Syria, and that's become such a terrible mess. But Saudis, they throw a lot of money around at a lot of conflicts, and and again, they've got a free pass from America, I guess, in exchange for petrol for their crappy Dodges. But
they're not so bad.
Really?
I think American cars are getting much better. They were really shitty in the 1980s. I think they're much better these days.
I must admit,
but my parents gave up after 1980, so we only buy Japanese and German now.
Yeah.
Volkswagens, Mercedes, BMWs, that kind of stuff.
I've driven like the Chrysler Voyager or something, like the minivan that they had in the 90s. I had that as a rental car in America. It was a good car. I like driving that.
What car was it?
It was a Chrysler Voyager. It was like the Estima. It was kind of like a big bubble-shaped kind of people mover, like an 8-seater.
I don't remember it.
I've driven good American cars. Actually, you know what? I drove a Mustang, a convertible Mustang 5-liter V8 when I was in San Francisco.
Sounds nice.
I think I felt an enhanced need to prove I was heterosexual, so I got a big convertible V8, and I drove up and down the coast. That was pretty awesome.
All my gay friends love those cars.
Oh man, yeah, really. Well, I drove one all over San Francisco, so yeah, that was probably the right way to go. So yeah, anyway, it is getting late, and I've got work. So it's been.
Hey, what are we doing next week?
Oh, what are we doing next week? We're on your channel.
I should be asking myself.
What's your problem?
I'll think about it. We'll think about something and get you next week. Oh, damn. I don't know if that's possible, but you know who's going to be here in 2 weeks? Kemushi-chan.
Kemushi-chan. I was worried that it was going to be Bieber would be coming back or something. Okay.
And what's going on with Jake Adelstein?
I don't know. I got to contact the guy.
All right, we'll get him on. If not, we can do it. We can still do a video on his book. If he wants to take part, it would be better.
Gandhi's got a stat. Sweden's the country that produces and sells the most weapons in the world per inhabitant.
Wow.
And I think it's not only guns, but also Ace of Base CDs. They actually export both.
Ace of Base.
Ace of Base. Ace of Base and guns. They export those two things more than any other country per capita.
I'll figure out something for next week, but we will have a show next week, 10:30 on Give Me a Flake Man channel.
Well, we always figure it out. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have.
We don't always have. I'd like to have Ren back.
I like Ren. She's having trouble with weekdays at the moment. I miss Ren. But I'm pretty sure Lady Gaga is probably gonna have more penis photos or something by next week that we're gonna have material.
Can I just address one minor point?
Yes.
Once in a while we do these shows, and then I get a comment saying, "Hey, when do you do these? I would love to join."
Oh yeah, you'd love to join.
Or,
yes.
But they write it in a way that it's like a favor, like, "Hey, I could help you out with, I could join." I don't think people understand that it's kind of an invite-only thing most of the time.
I know a guy who takes English lessons. He'd be really good on your show. I should introduce you. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think you've got something to offer, feel free to email us.
Call my agent. My people will talk to your people. We'll do lunch.
Give me a breakman@gmail.com and tell us you want to be on the show and tell us why you think you would be good. Like, show us that you've got some history of video making or something to sell, right?
Who are they, and you think they're ready for all of this? Can they handle this?
Yes.
Can they step up to the big leagues and sit with us?
We'd be happy to have a nobody on the show if they've got something to show for it, So. We're nobodies too, so.
We're nobody. We have nobodies on all the time, but yeah, at the same. And frankly, it's not whether it's a somebody or a nobody. It's just whether, I mean, are they going to be better than us and make us look good? The question is, are they going to make me look good?
Exactly.
Are they either going to allow me to give witty put-downs, or are they going to be so ugly that I'm going to look really good-looking next to them? Or just explain to me why it's a really good idea for me to put them next to me on this video thing.
There we go. All right. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.
Okay. Peace.
Peace out.
Good night. Stop broadcast. Boom.